Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. It is my great pleasure to kick off our Spotlight webinar for Fall 2026, featuring our amazing campus partner, Skaggs School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Science. PharmD program. My name is Griselda, and I will just be providing you with a little bit of housekeeping notes and information before our guest speakers really take it over. And we really hope that in this session that it's not only informative and that it provides you with a lot of answers to your questions, but also for you to understand that we are here for you through this whole process, especially through your UC application. To kick it off, I do want to just share a few quick housekeeping notes. Today's webinar is being recorded. A copy will be available in about 2 weeks in our undergraduate admission events recordings page, so you can revisit the information at your own pace. The Zoom Q&A feature is enabled. If you have questions for the Skaggs School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, please submit them through the Q&A. Dedicated staff are here to respond to your questions when you submit them. This question is scheduled for 45 minutes, so we are starting on the dot to make sure that they have plenty of time to present their presentation. And we'll make sure that it's not only informative, but if your questions do go unanswered, we do encourage you to please follow up with the school directly, or you can reach out to the undergraduate admissions through our contact us form and would be more than happy to forward it to the School of Pharmacy. To enable captions, click the live transcript icon in your Zoom toolbar to select show captions. Before we dive in, I'd like to just share a couple more highlights. Our events team has put together an exciting lineup of webinars each week. You can find the full schedule of the undergraduate admissions events page located under the visit section of our website. Today, we're featuring 2 spotlight webinars, and throughout the month, we'll also be offering in-person events. We do encourage you to explore the page, register for upcoming events, and experience all that our academic school and departments have to offer. So be sure to bookmark the events page and register early. If you are joining us just right now or happen to miss our earlier September webinars, like our Mastering the UC Application session, where we walk through the UC application, we encourage you to visit the event recordings page on the undergraduate admissions website section under the resources. Many of the recordings will be posted next week, so be sure to check the page regularly to stay up to date. And once again, if you have specific undergraduate admissions questions or any follow-up questions, such as pertaining to the UC application, guidance on transcript, campus tours, please contact undergraduate admissions team through the contact us form on our website located under the resource section. From there, you can submit your inquiry directly or browse our FAQ section, which addresses many common questions and concerns. And with that, it is my great pleasure to introduce our guest speakers. Jamie, I'll hand it off to you.
Thank you so much, Griselda. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, hopefully everybody can see that okay.
Yes.
Yes, great. Thank you so much for confirming. All right, so welcome everyone. I'm so happy you could join us today, and I'm excited to talk to you about our School of Pharmacy here at UCSD. My name is Jamie Niebusch. I am an assistant clinical professor and psychiatric clinical pharmacist. I am one of the educators over at UCSD Skaggs School of Pharmacy. I also happen to be a Skaggs alum. I actually graduated in 2016, so I have the whole spectrum of experience. I've been a student, I've been a faculty, I've done the whole thing. So I'm excited to talk to you a little bit today about what goes on at our school, what it all entails, and if you're interested, how you might be able to join us. So a little bit about me. I'm originally from Southern California in Riverside County, so have stayed local basically my entire education, my entire life. I went to Cal State Fullerton and got my Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry for my undergraduate degree, and then I, of course, went to Skaggs for my PharmD. I am a pharmacy specialist. I happen to specialize in psychiatry, but there's a variety of different specialties that you can engage in. There's even non-specialists if you want to be a generalist pharmacist. And hopefully you'll get a better idea of what that means and what that looks like as we go through the presentation. I'm engaged in the school in a variety of different ways. I'm on the SOAR team. I work with them as far as part of the admissions committee. I'm also a faculty advisor for our school organization that specializes in psychiatry. And just a little fun fact, I am an animal lover. Right before we hopped on, someone rang my doorbell and my dog was barking up amok. So I apologize if he barks a little bit. We're trying to get him a little bit quieter. But one day I hope to own a rescue. I just love animals that much. I have three of them right now, and they are the lights of my life. All right. So the profession of pharmacy. Maybe you guys can drop in the chat. Have you ever interacted with a pharmacist? Where might you have interacted with a pharmacist? Just so we can get a little bit of audience engagement here. Anything? Has anybody ever spoken with a pharmacist? Hmm. All right, that's okay. Um, Perhaps what you're thinking is, oh, my local Walgreens or my local CVS, a community pharmacist, where you most commonly are engaging with your local pharmacist, right? Where I'm going to go pick up my antibiotic or whatever it might be for that day, my inhaler. So that tends to be the most recognizable pharmacist, but they are really all over the place. We'll talk about it in just a minute, but we are in a variety of different settings. So let's hop into a little bit about what a pharmacist does. So, really, our job is medication safety. That is the primary goal of pharmacists at all times. So, how do we do that? We assess prescriptions for safety and appropriateness. We can also prepare medications, thinking back to like our Walgreens and CVS pharmacy. We can help with selection of appropriate dosing and medications for different conditions that people are experiencing. Physicians, nurse practitioners, PAs will call us all the time and say, "Hey, we have this condition. What's the recommended guideline for, or what's the recommended first line treatment for this condition?" And we can help with that. We monitor medications specifically for ongoing safety and efficacy. We educate our patients. Our primary goal is to counsel our patients. That's one of the biggest responsibilities that pharmacists hold. We promote health and wellness. We can immunize people, and then we also conduct research. So typically, when we're thinking of our traditional, perhaps community pharmacist, we're going to be reviewing prescriptions that come into us for a variety of different safety measures. So, does the patient have any allergies? What about any coexisting health conditions that might impact how they respond to this medicine? Are they on other medications that might interact with this new medicine? Is it appropriate to use for what is going on with them? And what about how long they're going to be on this? Is it appropriate time length as well as an appropriate dose? Are we starting too low, too high? So when we're assessing medications, and again, this is going to be across the board, not necessarily just with a community pharmacist. We're assessing all of these factors for patient safety and making sure we're selecting the right drug for them. I'm going to skip over this. It is kind of a fun thing. If you have a chance to look at it, we have a fun little drug or Pokemon challenge for you if you are interested in doing that. It's over on Instagram. So I've talked a little bit about what traditionally pharmacists do, but pharmacist roles are expanding. So we are now able to independently furnish medications, which include hormonal contraception, nicotine replacement therapy, naloxone, travel medications. We also, of course, like I said, administer immunizations to basically anybody over 3 years of age. We can, of course, administer medications to patients. We can also order and interpret labs. And more commonly, we're becoming advanced practice pharmacists. And in the state of California, this can also mean that we serve as mid-level practitioners or prescribers. So in my setting, I can prescribe medications for mental health conditions and help patients get access to the medications that they need for, depression or anxiety or whatever they might be experiencing. Like I said, we kind of recognize community pharmacists as sort of the baseline of what pharmacists are doing, but we're all over the place. I happen to work in academia, but not just in academia. I also work at the hospital. So I work on the inpatient setting and helping people with their psychiatric conditions while they're admitted to the hospital. But people are also in ambulatory care. That means they're out in the clinics, seeing people similar to like a primary care provider might. We are, of course, in retail. Government agencies, pharmacists really are making huge impacts at the VA, with the Department of Defense, helping serve our veterans and active military. We are in general hospital settings, so general inpatient pharmacists. Home care, we can visit patients at their house and make sure they're doing okay. Industry or pharma, long-term care, managed care, and honestly, the list just keeps growing and growing. And not only are we in a variety of different spaces, we all hold a variety of different specialties. So, like I said, you can be a generalist if you want to. We definitely need people who have sort of a broad scope of focus, but we also have people who specialize in all sorts of things. Administration. So, if you wanted to go be the director of pharmacy somewhere, infectious diseases, nutrition, myself like psychiatry, oncology. The list really does not end, and we're continuing to make strides in a variety of different areas. So let's talk a little bit about Skaggs, shall we? So we are fortunate, as you may know, to be located here in La Jolla. We are right on campus, on the UCSD campus, and really central to a lot of different beautiful places here in San Diego County. So hopefully, if you chose to join us, you'd be able to experience a few of those different places. But ultimately, why would you want to join Skaggs? So we are considered a pretty small class size. We have 65 to 70 students, and about 60 faculty. So we're at about a one-to-one student ratio, which really helps with, professor engagement. We really get to know our students super, super well. And we want you to come and engage with us. We want to network with you. We want to help you reach the goals that you are striving for. Our grading system is different from others. We are pass fail. We are not A, B, C, D, F sort of grading system. So really that helps encourage collaboration. And, the goal is really to reduce competition and make sure we're all just striving to be the best pharmacists we can be, to learn as much as we can together and in collaboration. We are a public institution, so we have lower tuition in comparison to potentially private schools. Our experiential education is wonderful. We are the only school in San Diego, pharmacy school that is, and so we really get first priority to our different rotation sites throughout San Diego County. We have a variety of degree offerings, so you can go into Skaggs and get your PharmD, but we also have a 7-year program that allows us to, if you major in pharmaceutical sciences, chemistry, yes, thank you, Sarah. You can do a 7-year program where your 4th year of your undergraduate degree serves as your 1st year of pharmacy school. So you would come over to the school, and then following the end of your 1st year at pharmacy school, you would get your bachelor's degree. We have a PharmD PhD program, a PharmD MPH program, and then we also have a master's in drug development and product management. Additionally, we are a highly ranked pharmacy school. I'll talk about that a little bit in just a minute to kind of, brag about our achievements. Like I said, we are the only pharmacy school in San Diego. There's a huge number of biotech and pharma industries down here. And so we actually are the number 3 in the nation. And so that's again just access for our students to get these experiences and figure out what space in pharmacy they really want to go into. We are actually, of course, close to the US-Mexico border, which really allows for collaboration. We work closely with people in Mexico to help provide, optimal care for them. So they work with us, we work with them, and it really creates a great collegiality with other countries. And then distinct learning opportunities in San Diego. So we have a very diverse population here in San Diego, and so we can make sure that you're getting access to a variety of different areas and serving a variety of different populations. So, real quickly, let's just talk about our curriculum. We are a four-year program. Your first year is really going to focus on your introduction into the practice of pharmacy. So, that's going to be our basics of pharmacy practice, how we counsel over-the-counter medications, as well as introducing you into health systems and law and ethics. And all these things are going to provide a foundation for you moving forward in the curriculum. During starting in P1 and all the way through P3, you do your introductory pharmacy practice experiences. So that means you're going out into the community, working in a community pharmacy, potentially in a hospital, and just getting experience as to what people in these settings do. So it's just kind of again dipping your toe in their introductory pharmacy practice experiences to kind of just get you comfortable with what pharmacists are doing around the community. We also have all of our students engage with our UCSD student-run free clinic project. So in P1 year, you will rotate through the student-run free clinic. And again, it's a great opportunity to expose yourself to a variety of different patient populations, a variety of different conditions, and really see what's impacting our community. In P2, we focus on our coast curriculum, and our coast curriculum is actually with our School of Medicine. So you take classes in conjunction with our first year medical students, which is a really cool opportunity. It is a block style system, so you're moving through a variety of organ states and diseases that affect those different organs. And it's a great opportunity for medicine students to see what pharmacy students do and pharmacy students to see what medicine students do. And it really forges relationships that carry forward through the rest of your career. I still see people who I went to classes with from the medical curriculum, which is wonderful. This just reemphasizes what we were talking about. Really emphasis on collegiality, interdisciplinary work. P3 is really when we're going to start taking the stuff from P1, the stuff from P2, and combining it into creating treatment regimens. We're going to bring it all together for, how we manage patients in our practice settings. So that can be ambulatory care, that can be acute care, that can be community, but really you're taking all of your knowledge and applying it to different disease states. And we cover a variety of different things: skin conditions, cardiology, oncology, psychiatry. We try and make sure you have a wide breadth of exposure over this year. Also, during this, again, you're taking all of the information you've learned and sort of applying it to patients. So we have our objective structured clinical examinations, and this is basically where you are practicing your pharmacist role in a structured setting. So we have actors come in and play, potential patients, and you are to counsel them or select appropriate treatments, depending on what year you're in. So it's a really great opportunity in a structured setting with faculty there to support you, to apply what you're learning throughout the curriculum. And then year four is our advanced pharmacy practice experiences. This is again a coalition of all the things that you've learned P1 through P3. You're going out into our rotations to apply it to real life patients. You, of course, are doing this with a pharmacist preceptor, but really this is your chance to go out there and before you graduate, practice being a pharmacist under, again, a structured setting. And it's, again, a great opportunity to see where pharmacists are working, what they're doing in the community. And we have a ton of electives that you can take throughout your curriculum. Typically, it's going to be P1 through P3. So if you have an interest in it, we probably have an elective for it. So there's no shortage of opportunities to kind of gain experience in a variety of different areas. If you really want to focus on pediatric pharmacotherapy, we have something for that. If you want to talk about how we do pharmacy for like animals, we have a veterinary pharmacy elective. So really no shortage of opportunities to learn a little bit more. So I talked about this a little bit more, but I want to reemphasize it. We have a pretty small class between 65 and 70 students, and we have about a faculty of about 60 individuals. And so that one-to-one faculty to student ratio really creates close relationships with the faculty that you can't always get. in a larger class. So I think it's a really cool opportunity to get to know your faculty really well, but it's also a great opportunity for us faculty to get to know you students very well. We have one-on-one mentorship. That's a part of our experience. So you automatically get connected to a faculty member who shares interests that you might have. So that might change over the course of your education, and really your mentor is there to help support and guide you through that. Like I said, we have an honors pass fail system. So really, again, this is meant to reduce competition, encourage you to collaborate with your classmates, and basically learn as best you can to go out into the world and be the best pharmacist you can. So what do we do to set our students up for success? Well, we have our unique curriculum that I already went through. We encourage collegiality with our medical students. We also have experiences with nursing students and family therapist students and PAs and all the different spectrum of providers. So you can really learn about interdisciplinary work. We regularly assess, so that's to encourage you, like, not to be cramming, but to really learn across the spectrum of the curriculum. Everything's kind of building on itself. So we're hoping that instead of just study and then forget, it's study and then build on it further and then build on it further. We have opportunities to help with career planning and development. So we have someone who specializes in that for our students to help you build your letter of intent, build your curriculum vitae, all these different things that might happen before you go out into the workforce. And then we have a faculty-led board exam preparation and review before graduation. So basically, before you walk and get your PharmD, we go through, systematically the different disease states that might be on your boards that you need to pass to go be a practicing pharmacist. We have a very high on-time graduation rate, 99% over the last 5 years, and no academic dismissals over the last 10 years. We really want to, as our Associate Dean of Student Affairs says, support, provide resources, and strategize with you, the student, to bring you to academic success. If you didn't know, we are actually number 12 in the nation of pharmacy schools, according to the US News and World Report, which is amazing. We are constantly moving up in the rankings. We also have the highest pass rate of our NAPLEX, which is our national boards, amongst all of the California schools. You can see there we are at 94%. We are also number one in California and number six in the nation for first-time NAPLEX pass rates. And then our law exam, we again are ranking number one in California as far as first-time test takers and who can pass the exam. So residency may or may not be for you, but many of our students do pursue a residency in their as postgraduate training following getting their PharmD, and we have a very high match rate. So 85% in comparison to other pharmacy schools, which are at 58%. So if it's something you're interested in pursuing, UCSD really does want to set you up for pursuing your goals, whether that's residency, community, industry, whatever it looks like. But if residency is your goal, we have a great match rate. And this just brings all together what I was just saying. We're number 12 in the nation. We are at number one in residency match rates, in NAPLEX pass rates, in CPJE pass rates, and then we're also a heavy research facility. So we are number seven in the nation for research funding by our American Association of Colleges of Pharmacy. So that's pretty great. If you have any interest in research, we can certainly find somewhere for you to be in our school. We have amazing faculty. Dr. Bunthavong just won Distinguished Teaching Award from AACP. We also have, like I said, a ton of research facilities, people who are bringing in, doing the best research. Dr. Dorenstein is one of the top 1% cited individuals in their respective field, which is amazing. And then Dr. Winsler is elected to the National Academy of Sciences. So again, if you have an interest in research, UCSD Skaggs is a great place to be. And then Dr. Kendillian is actually one of our alumni. She spoke at, I believe it was our white coat ceremony. And so she just emphasized that really UCSD Skaggs is wanting to encourage you and push you to excel beyond the classroom. It's not just about didactic teaching, it's about going and being effective for your patients in the community. But at the end of the day, you are more than just students, you are human beings, right? So we also focus on your health and wellness. We want to encourage balance, right? So that's part of the pass fail system is like it's not just about study, study, study and not having good balance. So you are a whole human who has school, professional, work, life, family, friends, all the things. And we want to encourage you to engage in all of those things as well. And we aim for creating a well-rounded experience where it's not just time in the classroom, but it's time outside of the classroom and focusing on yourself as well. We do hold a variety of wellness events. This was one of our therapy fluffy events where the dogs will come over and you just get to pet beautiful, sweet angels. We also have coffee and compassion, where you get to just get some coffee with I think it's Dr. Atai, and just talk about how things are going and giving yourself a little self-compassion because we are our own worst critics, and so sometimes we just need to take some time to offer ourselves some compassion, right? We help give you resources across the campus that are available and connect you with those resources. And so we are constantly encouraging you to focus and prioritize your wellness, and we will do whatever we can at the school to make sure that happens. So, now I've covered our school. You're probably wondering, how do I actually get into this school, right? So let's talk a little bit about the process. So we do expect a bachelor's degree prior to matriculation. The exception to this is if you are a UCSD student going through the 7-year program. And that means that you get to do your first year through the pharmacy school. But everybody else will have to have a bachelor's degree at minimum prior to matriculation. That doesn't mean you have to wait till you have your bachelor's to apply. Many apply before they get their bachelor's, but they are planned to get it within like the semester following their application. We expect an overall GPA of at least 3.0 and a science GPA of 3.8. On our website, we do have a list of all the prereqs that are expected. And so you can always go to our website and see if the prereqs that you are doing are going to meet the criteria. And then you must be a U.S. resident or, excuse me, a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. What we don't require, the PCAT. The PCAT is actually being phased out. So we have actually never required the PCAT, and we will not actually even take it into consideration if you were to submit your scores. We don't have any supplemental questions or applications that you need to fill out. It's just the forecasts. Forecast? Forecast? Forecast or farmcast? One's residency, one's pharmacy. Thank you. Um, and then we don't have any additional deposits or fees that we expect from our applicants. But what are we looking for? Well, we want to know why you want to be a pharmacist, right? So that's the biggest thing. You're coming here to come be a pharmacist. Why do you want to do it? We also want to know that you have found balance throughout your undergraduate education. So, how are you balancing school, work, life? Pharmacy school, despite being us, having a variety of different opportunities for you to engage in wellness and making sure that you prioritize yourself, is still not going to be super easy, right? You are getting a graduate degree, you are getting a doctorate. And so, there is still a level of rigor that comes with that, but we want to make sure that you can manage that rigor with, self wellness, right? How are you doing that? How have you engaged in campus organizations? Do you engage in leadership? What does your academics look like? Do you have any special life circumstances that might, play into how we might make our decisions? So please share all of that in the application. Um, like I said, what are your work experiences? Some people have pharmacy experiences. Did you work or volunteer in a pharmacy? Have you ever shadowed a pharmacist? Do you have your technician license? Have you engaged in pre-pharmacy organizations? All of those things go to giving us an understanding of how you've explored pharmacy and why you might be pursuing this route. What else are we looking for on your application? Well, work, community service. Have you engaged in campus organizations? It doesn't have to be pharmacy specific. It can be literally anything. Were you on the soccer team? Were you, did you join like an a cappella group? It doesn't really matter. We want to see that you're engaging in things that bring you joy outside of just didactics, right? Have you done research? That's a great opportunity to sort of learn more about the science behind pharmacology. Any other extracurricular activities, and then of course leadership positions. You may or may not fill a leadership role at Skaggs, but there are a ton of leadership roles to be had. So if it's something that you have experience with, it really does speak to, um, your opportunities to engage with that at our school as well. And again, is a good opportunity for you to, show your development over time. Um, And so essentially we encourage you to put everything into your application, right? Like don't leave anything out because you don't think it's pertinent. If you tutored, if you mentored people at church, if you went out and started a running club, it doesn't really matter. You did something, you should count it, right? And everybody's journey looks different. So don't overanalyze and nitpick it and be like, ah, this isn't pharmacy specific. It doesn't matter. Everybody's journey is uniquely their own, and everybody becomes the human they are based off of their own experiences. So we encourage you to include it. Of course, if you had a paid experience, doesn't matter what it was, pharmacy or not, include it in employment experiences. Break down your extracurricular activities that you're doing, any health related specific activities. So if you were, I don't think they call them candy stripers anymore, but candy striper at a hospital, or this one says they were a clinical writing intern, so you went and wrote for, pharma or something like that. That all counts. And then of course, pharmacy experiences, whether that's paid or unpaid, please include it. For letters of recommendation, we expect two, but prefer three. And it can be basically from anyone, professors, employers, pharmacists, any healthcare professional, any mentor, any academic advisor. The only people it cannot be from is clergy, family members, friends, and politicians. If you created a really strong relationship with, say, like a TA in like a lab course or a technician, the only expectation we have is that it is co-signed by the PI or the pharmacist who is leading that individual. Um, we just have a little bit of recommendations as far as how to get quality letters of recommendation because you do want strong letters. So make sure you're planning ahead. Make sure you're letting the writer know what the program deadlines are. It's always helpful for letter writers if you offer your resume or your CV, and why you're wanting to pursue this specialty. Talk to them, ideally in person if you can. Of course, follow up to make sure that they have everything they need to write a strong letter for you. And then, of course, we always want to send a nice thank you once they do submit it. And please know you're not a bother. People want to see you succeed. People want to help support you in your success. And so please ask, and just know we want to do this for you. For our interview day, we have the structure basically looks like we give you a brief presentation about the school. You're going to come in there as an expert because you came to one of these presentations, but we'll review it all again anyways. We'll have a two-on-one blinded interview. So not blinded as far as like you're not seeing the person, but we don't know who we're interviewing. You don't know who you're being interviewed by. We just go in there and we'll meet with you, just really to get to know you. And we just want to know who you are, right? Why you're wanting to come to Skaggs and just get a little bit of insight into the person you are. You meet with our current students, and then if you're in person, you get to do a guided tour throughout the school. We have some tips here for you. We always encourage you to practice interviewing. Make sure you review your application really well because we may not know what's on your application. We want to hear what's on the application, right? Know a little bit about our school before you come. Make sure you tell us why you're enthusiastic to join Skaggs. And then, of course, make sure you get all the questions that you want answered while you're with us. A little bit about the student experience. We have peer mentorship. We have big sib, little sib opportunities. And then in these sort of experiences, you learn more about the pharmacy school, time management, how best to study. And really, it's just creating a network around you to help build you and grow your success, right? So you're all going to be future pharmacists. You're all going to be collegial. So it's just a cool opportunity to get to know people who have gone through, like, been in your shoes, literally like a year ago. We have a variety of different student organizations. I talked a little bit about AAPP, but you can see here it doesn't end. We have, if you are interested in fraternities, we have one of those. If you're interested in like hospital pharmacy, we have one of those. Industry, we have that. We have everything you could possibly need. And really, we want you to come join our Skaggs community. We are always looking for people who are enthusiastic and excited to join our pharmacy field. And you're close, right? You can, if you're at UCSD, you can certainly come on over and just visit our campus if you ever want to. Just reach out to our admissions group, and they would be happy to help facilitate that. Um, I think Sarah has been dropping some links and stuff in the chat for you, but you can always learn more at our website. And you can always email Sarah or anybody on our admissions team if you have any questions at all that they can answer. Here's some contact information if you're interested. So our general email for our admissions committee up there at the top, pharmacy.ucsd.edu is our pharmacy school website, and you can get more information about for prospective students. And of course, we want to connect with you on all of the social medias if you're on them. So please come check us out on X, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever is your social media fancy of choice. Please come see us. And then we also have quarterly newsletters if you're interested in subscribing to that. And like I said, we hope you join us. So if you have any questions at all, we encourage you to reach out. I think we have some time for some questions now if you have any that we didn't answer in the presentation. I will go
I
ahead and
know
stop sharing.
one question came up, and it was about when we're referring to P1, that refers to our first year pharmacy students. So they're already in the PharmD program. You're not an undergrad, you're in the graduate program now. And so when you come in, we refer to you as a P1. Our P3 is a third year pharmacy student. P4 is the fourth year pharmacy student. So that's just a little of our jargon that we use.
Sorry, it just comes out naturally. Now, once you're in it, you're just like, yeah, I'm a P1, right? Like just the way it works. Yeah, so P1. Thank you, Sarah, for clarifying that.
No worries. And we do have two advising staff. So if you ever have questions on transcripts or would like to know about experiences or way to get involved with pharmacy or things on the undergrad side, like our pre-pharmacy society, that is one of the great ways to start getting your feet into pharmacy and learning a little bit more about the professions and the experiences available through undergrad and grad side. And do we have any questions? I'll be here for a moment. So for interview day, a question was asked, can you talk more about the interview day? When are those typically scheduled? So interview day is after you've submitted your application through FarmCast. Our fall application deadline is today, October 1st. So our team will be reviewing applications and then sending out invites to students for either our November 8th in-person interviews or our November 14th virtual interview. And that is the only date that we have virtual interviews. I highly recommend doing in person. You get a feel for the students, the faculty, and see what our community is about over here on the health sciences and Skaggs side. Then we will have our winter deadline. So we have three deadlines. We have a fall early deadline, which is the October 1st date. Then we have a winter January 5th deadline for applications and a spring March 2nd deadline. And this is all applying for our next cohort that will start fall 2026. I did drop in the chat the other interview dates. So when you come for an interview, we do a welcome presentation so you get to learn a little bit about our school and culture. You will then rotate through three different activities. Our interviews, so where you will go interview with faculty, an alumni, or a student. We have a student host room where that allows you to be with students and ask them questions about the program and what they are doing with and directions and focuses that they're taking and how that might have changed. Because as a P1, when they first came in, they had all these great ideas. They maybe thought they were going to go into community, and then they decided, oh my goodness, I really like palliative care, so I want to focus that. Or maybe they thought industry, and so they're going to go focus on industry. And then our last one is is a campus tour of the health sciences side in our school. And you can schedule that too as well anytime with me. I did drop my email in the chat so that if you would like to follow up, set up a tour, set up advising, go over transcripts to make sure that you meet requirements, or see what experiences are out there at one of our many clinics or labs. Any other questions? And our social media. So if you follow Instagram, UCSD_pharmacy. Our communications team has done a great job highlighting the profession of pharmacy, highlighting our faculty, also showcasing what events are coming up, and doing some fun reels with our students. So you get a little insight of what our students are doing and what pharmacy is. I'll give you a couple more minutes to answer questions. And if you'd like any PDFs that I dropped or to learn more about the 7-year program, please do feel free to reach out to me afterwards. All right. Well, if there are not any other questions, thank you guys so much for joining us today. And I look forward to seeing you on campus, either at a graduate fair on Library Walk on the 27th of October, or coming by and stopping by to have a tour or talking with us.